I'm recording, so you tell me when.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode 171, and today I am coming to you from the beautiful island of Bali, Indonesia, and we are on the road again talking about Ubud, which is considered the kind of the spiritual and cultural center of Bali. So we're looking forward to talking about some things you can do there, the overall vibes, and I'm curious to see what questions Jared has for me today that I probably will not be able to answer because Jared comes prepared and then some. So without further ado, my partner in crime, what's going on, Jared?
I don't know how many times it'll take for me to tell Chad to stop saying that, because whenever you say that, I'm almost never prepared with more than 3 questions. But I'm very excited to talk about your stay in Ubud so far. But first, spread a little love. You can, actually, hold on. Spread a little love. That's the kind of volume I like for my drops.
There we go.
You can spread a little love and follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. You can see some of these pictures from Ubud. I put up the videos on stories, of your travels around, and I just tag, usually I'll put the city that it's in or whatever, and I put Ubud, and we got like double the amount of views we've ever gotten because I went on to their like the Ubud sort of story thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And I was like, oh, that's weird. Anyway, follow us though. That was just for Chad. Don't listen to that last part. You can also follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. You can also please give us 5-star reviews. Have you noticed, Chad?
Пожалуйста.
At the beginning of this Pajolsta is you going, mm-hmm.
Again, play it again.
Пожалуйста.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that.
I couldn't cut it out.
That's funny.
So, listen, I'm not here to talk about coronavirus all the time, but I do read a lot about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to talk about it, but I want to talk about something that's tangential to that and you being in Indonesia.
Okay.
Have you heard of a place called what is it called? Tomahone.
You're talking about the temple.
I'm not talking about the temple.
You're not.
It's a city. But in the city,
never mind. Okay.
I think it's a city. In the city they have something called an extreme market. Have you heard of the extreme market?
No, I have not.
The extreme market is a place in these. There's a few of them, but there's one called the Tomahone Extreme Market, and it's a pretty popular tourist attraction. They have a whole bunch of crazy animals for sale, and they're known to also, essentially torture them. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God. Okay.
But they have weird things like, you can get monkeys, you can get snakes, you can get bats, cats, dogs, and there have been, for animal cruelty reasons, for a long time that people have been asking to close these places down and whatnot. But these places have seen a sharp decline in visitation recently due to the
I
whole
wonder why.
bat and snake thing. Now, there is no coronavirus in Indonesia, let's be clear. But
knock on wood.
People are starting to get a little nervous because these same sort of animal situations is what caused it in China, and now people are starting to get concerned.
Right.
Actually, it was popular with Chinese tourists specifically too.
That doesn't surprise me.
And so, I just found that both disgusting and interesting, and I was reading about that today.
Also, fun fact, Jared, it wasn't only the coronavirus, but also SARS and MERS all came from was an animal to human virus. So,
I don't know about MERS, but I knew SARS is similar. Like SARS and coronavirus are similar. They're just like mutated viruses of one another.
Yep.
SARS is coronavirus, actually. SARS is a coronavirus.
Coronavirus, yes.
And
It's a
coronavirus
type of
is the
coronavirus,
broad term
yes.
for this current one. There's a more specific term that I don't know.
It's the novel 2019 novel coronavirus is the current one.
Well, there you go.
Speaking of animals, though, Jared, and actually I just realized I haven't sent you these pictures yet, so let me do that. But speaking of animals, while I have been in Ubud, I made a trip to the Bali Zoo,
Oh.
and that was super awesome. The highlight of the zoo, though, Jared, was the fact that when you walked in the zoo, the first spot you go to, they have free roaming deer. And you can pay 20,000 rupiah, which is, I would guess that'd be about $14 would be my guess. About $14 to feed the animals.
$1.46
for 20,000. Oh yeah, I was thinking of 200,000. Right. So yeah, so there
Still,
you go.
I mean, you still got it right, though, I guess. You're off by a 10, but you still got it right.
Right. So you can feed the cute deer, and they're very domesticated, and they want food.
What are you
so they
feeding
come
them?
right up to you. You're feeding them. I'm not really sure what it is, Jared. To be honest with you, it's some type of grass or something. I'm not really sure what you would call it, but yeah. Then they had elephants. You could ride the elephants. I opted out of that just because. Well, one, I didn't want to pay the money, and two, the idea of being that high up off the ground on an elephant, I'm not so sure about that.
Really? That's I don't think I would do it either, but I think it's just okay. No, I don't blame you. Now that I think about it, now that I give it some actual thought. At first, I was like, oh, they're soft, majestic creatures, but then I'm like, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that smoke. I mean, that's a little too much for me. What's this little marsupial thing? A wombat? Is that what you'd call that?
Wallaby.
Wallaby.
It's a wallaby, mate.
Damn it, I was close.
But here's the wild thing, though, Jared, is that they had an aviary, which is where you have birds and things that fly.
Did I see?
Sun bear is what they call them.
Sun
bear. Yeah, they're super
An
lazy,
aviary.
super chill. But anyways, back to the aviary. So the aviary, they have flying things. So birds, what have you. What I didn't think of, but I walked in and I saw these big black wings like go whoosh over my head, and they were fox bats. And fox bats, Jared, are pretty big. For our American listeners out there, their bodies are about the size of a football, and their wingspans got to be a couple feet long.
A fox bat?
Yes, I sent you some pictures, but the pictures I took of them, they were like hanging. But yeah, they're pretty big critters.
Oh yeah,
They're pretty big.
Oh, I got some googs of it.
Yep.
That looks like a little fox. Oh,
Yeah, fox bat. That's why. Now Jared knows.
wow.
Now the name makes sense. But I will say this, Jared. The Bali Zoo was awesome.
I don't like bats, dude. Bats gross me out. Their tongues hanging out.
They're kind of cute. They're kind of
Yeah, I knew
cute,
you'd
man.
say that. They're leathery. They're leathery. It's not even their bodies. It's their leathery wings.
Well, you know what else? You know what other animals are leathery, Jared? Pigs. Elephants.
Okay. Yeah, but they're not paper thin leather. You can like I don't know. It's a different. Ugh.
I don't know.
Is it delicate? Is that wing delicate?
I didn't
know.
They touch them.
They seem pretty taut.
Do you think I was petting them? I wasn't petting them. Come on now.
I thought maybe you let it land. It was dangling up your finger.
Just hold my arm out like a trained eagle in Mongolia. Just swoop down and land on it.
Oh God!
Not quite.
I would scream like a little girl.
I could see that. But what was cool is they had some tigers there, and you forget how big those cats are. I mean,
Yeah.
tigers. They're huge. Like, oh man, I was with a buddy of mine at the zoo. He's probably 6 foot, 6'4", 6'5", maybe even 6'6". He's pretty tall, and they had a picture of a tiger with his front paws all the way up, and that thing was easily over 8 feet tall.
Were they in a enclosure, like a glass enclosure?
They were in an enclosure, but it was fairly large. I have to say I was impressed by the size of the Bali Zoo. They even had a shuttle from one end of the zoo to the other, because there were like 2 parts, and right now there's a lot of construction going on. So they're actually going to have way more animals in the future. They'll have hippos. I'm trying to think of the ones I saw that were coming soon. Were hippos, giraffes, a bunch of animals. But we got to see a couple native animals to Bali, which was pretty cool, like a hornbill. It kind of looks like a toucan with a goofier beak. They are native to Bali. There are a couple different types of eagles that they have in Indonesia. I'm not sure if they're in Bali. But I tell you what, Jared, the zoo was a great experience. I think we spent about $30 to enter, and in my opinion, worth every cent.
When's the last time you went to a zoo?
That's a great question, Jared.
I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a zoo.
Been a while. Maybe the Berlin Zoo in 2016.
That's pretty recent.
4 years ago, pretty recent.
For zoos, yeah.
I guess. Yeah, zoos are
I mean,
cool,
that's not
though.
recent
It
if
was
we're
a lot
talking
of
about
fun.
taking showers, but it's recent.
True. That is true. That is true. But Jared, we'll talk more about this in the main segment, but Ubud is such a cool place in terms of the geography, in terms of the nature. I would say that when a lot of people think of Bali, they think of like a beach, like surfing, a beach, lots of tourists. I mean, yes, there are plenty of tourists in Ubud, but Ubud has like some really beautiful temples, some really cool buildings, some markets where you can practice your negotiation skills and your haggling skills. Really beautiful rice terraces.
Did you practice your negotiating and haggling skills? This tiger looks ripped as F. By the way.
Oh, I know, right? Right?
Did you practice your haggling skills?
I did. I probably didn't get the greatest deal. But here, I can show you one thing I got, Jared, because it's right here next to me. I'll grab it for you. 1 second.
How much?
I wanted to get
he took his headphones off.
All my beach wear, for the most part, is stuck in Jinan because I wasn't able to go back to China to get my stuff. So I needed a tank top. And as we were walking around the market, this tank top came up. Oh, it's hard to see because it's blurry.
Now that is that an elephant on there? Oh, okay.
It's an
elephant.
elephant,
Oh, wow, yeah, a little ohm in the middle of the
exactly,
elephant's
yeah,
head.
Ohm on the middle of the elephant. It's like a teal color. Yeah, it looks really... Here, if I put it there, maybe you can see it a bit better, Jared.
But I'd also imagine I got a good look at it. I also imagine there's not much negotiation wiggle room on a tank top because it's already a pretty cheap item. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, depends how high they first tell you.
That's true. You are a stupid white, so maybe they're just like,
That's
right. let's milk this idiot for all he's got.
Exactly. They see me and they
this
see
is a $400 T-shirt.
Right. But I think, I got that, and then I got a bintang, which is the local beer here in Bali. I got a bintang shirt from one of my buddies who brews beer back in Michigan. So for those two things...
What? Great gift giver. That's another example.
I try.
Both thoughtful and useful.
I try. You just wait till you see your gift, buddy. I actually...
I should probably get you something.
What's correct? No, you don't got. You haven't been anywhere. Where are you going to get me there?
How dare you?
I can think of a few things you can get me, but we'll talk about it off air. But anyways,
oh wow!
Hold up. I paid.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah. Talking about guitar stuff, people. All right, let's see here. I think I paid $17 for a tank top and a T-shirt. Could I have paid less? Probably. I'm sure I probably could have paid $10 if I really would
probably
really pushed it. But I offered a lower price than she offered. I offered lower and lower, and then she looked at me. She was like, "Come on, can we meet in the middle and meet there?" And I was like, "All right, we can." So we did.
And she's like, "Oh,
but-
you stupid idiot!"
Right, but if you really want to get the deals, the thing that you're supposed to do is just say, "No, this is my lowest price." Start to walk away, and they'll sell it to you.
Yes,
that's what you got to do.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
And you also, I've also been told. Now, I'm not good at the walking away part. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm some expert negotiator, but you also have to make it seem like you also have to kind of remind yourself, especially in a place like that, is that you can find the same or very similar thing like
all over the place,
like so many places.
Oh yeah,
this is not some sort of special, unique item you're stumbling upon here.
Right,
most times at least.
Exactly. No, that's a great thing to keep in mind. I think the only time where it might be something rare is if it's like handmade stuff, handmade jewelry, handmade
for
bags.
sure.
But even some of that stuff, you can still find very similar items. So it might not be the same pendant, it might not be the same exact bag or pattern on the bag, but yeah, for the most part, you can. But yeah, let me tell you though, Jared, I went to the supermarket today and went to this like big mall near the hotel, and I finally found a second suitcase because I needed a second suitcase because my suitcase is all full of my winter stuff from Beijing. And I needed another suitcase so I can bring back some souvenirs, kind of move around my junk so I'm not overweight when I fly back to the States. But it was crazy how much of a hassle it was. I wanted to look around the mall more and potentially buy some more stuff, but because I had a suitcase, they kept stopping me and I had a cover. They gave me a plastic cover, like a waterproof cover to put over the suitcase for free.
Oh, that's cool.
And but people kept like stopping me and like taking the cover off and like looking in my suitcase. It's like, where do you think I would have stolen something?
Wait, who was stopping you? Oh, people in the
who
store
were working there. Yeah.
Oh.
So it got to the point where I was with a friend of mine, my friend John, the one who suggested
why wouldn't you just take the
last.
cover off and put it into the suitcase?
Well, it wasn't. They would have still kept opening my suitcase.
Oh, it has nothing to do with the
wasn't a
cover
matter of the
specifically.
cover.
I
Yeah,
got you.
it was- they were-
but it was just annoying
yeah.
because you had to undo the cover, then open the suitcase over and over
exactly.
again.
Like a couple of times.
I gotcha.
So what wasn't ideal. So basically, I was hoping to get most of my souvenir shopping done today, but because I was walking around with this giant suitcase and they kept stopping me, I was like, all right. But I got to price check a little bit, and I have an idea now of what stuff goes for. So now if I try to haggle, they won't be playing me anymore.
Listen here, you son of a bitch.
So
Not again. Not again.
But Ubud's a cool place. We'll talk more about it later this episode, but now I think it's time to...
It's hold on. It's actually interesting. I've been I love hearing this. What's the weather been like there, real quick though?
Rainy. Pouring. Torrential downpour.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. I've been living in this sort of resurgence of a winter wonderland here, and I spent my final. I spent yesterday at the last day of the Winter Fest in Campus Martius, and
oh, nice.
It was a great time. Except I went to this one concert, and that they had inside of this at Cadillac Square. They have this little outside tent thing, and it's like this little square right off of Campus Martius. It's nothing special. Anyway, they had all these ice sculptures. I took a picture of it. It's on our story as well on Instagram. But anyway, Untranslatable Podcast. This guy that was performing was one of the unintentionally most hilarious people I've ever seen in my life. He was singing these, like he had a electronic setup, so he was like doing a little DJ stuff, but it was like he was like singing, and it was like he was a black dude, like maybe in his like 40s to 50s, singing like I guess you'd call it like R&B-ish music, but then he'd also do these solo improv things on this little mini keyboard thing, and he didn't know how to play the piano. Like he was constantly going out of out of key and like just hitting random notes. And Cindy and I sat there and watched it for 30 minutes. And we were like, why does he keep going back to this keyboard? People started dancing. I looked around and I'm like, am I missing something here? It was just an overload that I had to tell you about. I was shocked, and then after like 30 minutes of sitting there, Sydney's like, all right, I can't take any of this anymore. We just got left.
That's funny.
We were there for like 30 minutes.
That's funny.
It was ridiculous. Anyway, let's spread a little love. I just insulted someone.
So my shout out today goes out to Finland because Finland now is going to be offering fathers as much paid leave as mothers, which I think is awesome.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty great. Pretty fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, that is great. I mean, they could at least just up, like, the maternity leave here, if I'm not mistaken. It's terrible.
Oh, it's, well, yeah.
Isn't it like 2 weeks or something?
I don't even think there's mandatory maternity leave, like by law.
Oh, not for men, I don't think.
Not for either, I don't think. I don't think
really?
there's like a legally... Yeah, I don't think so. You can Google that for me.
So, Chad, yeah, we took a break, people. Don't worry about it. I looked it up. Maternity leave in the United States. There is a required 12 weeks of unpaid leave for mothers of newborns or newly adopted children.
That's not great. A required 12 weeks.
But it's like, what do you like? What normal person can take off 12 weeks from their job, especially now that you have a whole bunch of new expenses coming in with a child?
Right. All the more reason
anyway,
why it shouldn't be unpaid. All the reason why it should be paid.
No, I'm with you.
But yeah, so I think that's great that Finland has done this.
Yes.
They say that some of this is to improve, I quote, gender equality and also to boost a declining birth rate. This enables better equality between parents and diversity among families. And I would have to agree with it. I mean...
so it makes it easier for them to have kids because there's more flexibility with who stays home and
correct
and who's getting paid and stuff like
correct. That. I mean, those first few years of a child's development are really crucial to... those first few years are big. So I think this is really great. I doubt the U.S. will follow in suit, but it would be nice if they would. So yeah, some of us can dream, Jared. What can I say?
Yeah. We're still young. Maybe by the time we're in those positions, probably not. Okay.
Do you know what time it is, Jared?
We're not that young. We're also not that young. I do. It's time for those untranslatables, which are idioms, sayings, proverbs that don't really make any sense if you translate them directly to English, but they have a meaning all right, and we're going to get to the bottom of it, folks. God, I hated that. That was not good. Okay. My first one is Serbian, and it goes Zabriti Chorbu. Zabriti Chorbu. Thicken the stew.
Thicken the stew. Is this like work harder, try harder, put in more effort?
No. Here comes Jared to come thicken the stew.
To add some drama? I don't know. Ooh, all right.
Stir the pot. Yeah. Mess and
spice things
business
up a bit.
that's not your own. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Very good, Chad.
Okay. My first one for you, Jared, is actually both of mine today are Indonesian. And this one is related. I wanted to do this one because I was at the zoo and I saw tigers. And this one is makan ompong, which means toothless tigers.
Is makan tiger? Interesting.
I don't know if it's tiger or toothless. I'm not sure.
Well, there's a Porsche Macan, and I wonder if it's called if they named it after the tiger.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
And I assume they didn't name it a Porsche Toothless.
Probably not.
Anyway.
Probably not.
What's the Toothless Tiger?
Yeah, toothless tigers.
Is that like someone that like acts tough but really is harmless?
No, I could see why you would think that.
But they still have claws, though.
For example, Jared, depending on your political leanings, you might say that the current president of the United States is a bit of a toothless tiger.
Oh, it's like a led by an idiot. Essentially, you're being led by. Is that essentially what it is? He's the greatest person.
Here it says inept leaders.
Okay.
But
okay. So it's a very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Inept
leader is a toothless tiger. I like that.
Right.
It makes sense, especially as like a political term. There's a lot of political terms that involve like animals and stuff, you know.
Right.
I have one that is. I considered looking up some Indonesian ones too, but then I didn't
Don't
want
be
to.
stealing
I
my
was just wasn't.
thunder.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in potentially stepping on toes, and so I just took a hard left up north to French Canada,
Sweet.
and I have il se prend pour le boss de Bécossé.
Which means?
He thinks he is the toilet's boss.
Well, I don't even know where to begin with this one. He thinks he's the toilet's boss. Is this like you think you're the king of the world? You think you're hot shit?
Kind of, but specifically to whom? To whom is that? To who is it? To who? I don't know.
To whom? Or for
It's
whom?
to whom? Oh yeah, yeah. Either one.
Give me an example.
He's the
or a
toilet's
clue.
toilet. So say we're all okay. Say we're traveling, and it's me, you, and Don in Prague. Just hypothetically speaking.
Right, because that never happened.
and well, actually, what I'm saying did not happen. Just to be fair.
Okay.
But I was concerned that Don would do his thing that he tends to do on vacations and assume control, and what I would say to you, probably, is he thinks he's the toilet's boss.
So he just thinks he can thinks he can control everybody. No? What is it? Give it to me.
Yes, it is that, but it's someone that's trying to lead a group of people that doesn't want a leader. So like
okay.
a group of people not asking to be led, essentially.
Right. Gotcha.
It's like we don't need a leader. No one's asking for this, and
Right.
So, but that's kind of a very specific thing, I think, to guess.
That's fair.
So
That is specific. All right, my last one for you today, Jerry, is also Indonesian, and it is 5 watt left, tinggal 5 watt. 5 watt left.
5 watt left. Is that like
5
they're idiots?
watts
They don't
left.
have much brain power left going on up there.
It's not about brain power. Well, not really.
It's like the light's almost out. It's like a dim, someone who's dim is stupid,
It
right?
has nothing
Dumb?
to do with intelligence or stupidity.
Oh, like tired?
There we go. Yep, because that's
Okay,
how I was
okay.
feeling after walking around the zoo all day.
I have one more, and also French, but from Canada. Avoir mal aux cheveux, to have a hairache.
To have a hair ache?
Yeah.
Can you give me a clue?
You're on vacation right now. Have you had any hairaches since you've been there?
So is this just like any minor disturbances?
Maybe after a late night.
Oh, a hangover.
Yeah.
Hangover? No. I've
betcha.
been pretty well behaved, Jared. I have to say.
I don't take Bali to be a particularly big party place. Or Ubud. I don't know much about Ubud.
You are very wrong. Ubud, no. Ubud is not really a party place, but Kuta
All right, let's
will be.
let's
And
just
we'll
start
talk about
real
that
quick
next
with
episode.
Let's just start with all of my misconceptions.
Let's do
First misconception I had was before we even started recording. I was asking you about beaches. And you said you're nowhere close to water.
Correct.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, I hear Bali. I think, oh, you're on a beach somewhere sipping a Mai Tai. That's just immediately where my head goes.
Okay. Yeah.
But now I know after last episode that, first of all, Bali is an island, so it's not like a specific, one specific small,
Spot,
one specific
right.
location, really. I mean,
Right.
it is a specific location, but you don't go. If you're in Bali, you're not going to Bali. You got to go to somewhere in Bali to be somewhere.
Correct.
And so you're in Ubud right now, which is nowhere close to water, or at least you're not in travel. You're not in a close enough
Right.
local
I'm in the
distance to
middle of
water
the
to
island.
reasonably go there. Middle of the island. Okay. Now, another misconception I had, or not a misconception. I mean, this does another thing I just not a misconception. Another way I was picturing your life. I didn't realize it's been raining. Did we say this? Was this recorded? I don't remember when
I don't
we
think
said
so.
this.
Torrential downpour today.
Oh yeah, I asked you what the weather's been like since you've been there. Is it so the whole time it's been raining or just today?
No, just today. And there was some really heavy rains a couple nights ago. But the nice thing is generally what I've seen so far is it will rain pretty hard for a few hours, and then the sun will come back out. And the
Is
rain
this
will
like
clear
a
out.
wet season kind of country, like where it's
Yes.
like a
There's
season
a
where
dry
it's
and a
nice
wet
out and and it's in wet season right now?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. But it's still warm outside, I imagine.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like you could still
yeah.
you still just wearing t-shirts and all that stuff.
Today was cooler, but generally it's been in the 80s.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Fahrenheit for our foreign listeners out there. That'd be what, like
Yeah,
24, 25 degrees
You'd be
Celsius,
just about
26,
cooked by now if
somewhere
it
around
was.
there. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Okay. That's all sort of the misconceptions I had at the top of my head. I'm sure more will come to me, but I just had a huge misconception about the location. Oh, another one, I guess. I didn't know the vibe of it. I took it to be a real chill place. Like, I'm not saying you can't drink there or anything, but I just took it to
Right.
be like a place where they're like, what's the vibe of Ubud like? What's the city like? Is it bustling? Are there skyscrapers? Is it like
No skyscrapers. No. Ubud is, I would say it's busy. There are a lot of people, a lot of tourists, a lot of shops. It's pretty condensed, pretty dense as well. But it's like in a forest. And Ubud is where they have the monkey forest. That's where that is, in Ubud. And you can see monkeys right on the, like, they are not afraid of people. So you'll see them. We were walking around Ubud, and we were right on the entrance of the monkey forest. And there were a couple of them just chilling on the sidewalk, eating something. I'm not sure what they were eating, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, because they know people won't mess with them, I imagine, is why
Right.
that is.
Right.
So who's like you've been doing stuff, I imagine. Who's planning this? Who's figuring this out? Who are you hanging out with? How much of your time is spent by yourself? How much of your time is spent with these magical people that are I imagine you're not planning these things. This sounds like way too many activities for you to be behind, responsible for.
So first of all, I haven't really been doing that much because we were in Ubud for work. And this has been my first actual free day, and it's been downpouring. So I just got my suitcase, had my lunch, and then had quite the case of Bali belly or a bad stomach ache, so stayed in the hotel room. Now, when we were exploring Ubud, though, we went to the market, did some haggling, and just looked around. That was pretty cool. Also kind of checked out, they weren't really like legit temples, but they were buildings that I think people use. So Bali is majority Hindu, whereas the rest of,
The rest of Indonesia is primarily Muslim.
Thank you,
is
sir.
what I imagine you were going to say.
Thank you. So yeah, so that aspect of Bali gives it an interesting vibe. Like, people are super peaceful. Most people
More
greet
of a
you.
chill vibe, would you say?
Right. A lot of people will greet you with the hands clasped, kind of like they're praying and bow their head. I love it. I
Like
think
a
it's
namaste
amazing.
kind of move.
Exactly. Way more sanitary than shaking hands with somebody, Jared. Especially in lieu with all these crazy viruses going around.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
right. But yeah, and then you have like traditional. You see more. I think in Ubud you see more traditional Balinese clothing. So I sent you some pictures, Jared. I have I forget what it's called now. I think it's called an Ubundu or something like that. It's a bandana.
The headpiece.
Yes, it's a bandana that men wear. And then men also wear a sarong, which is it's kind of not really like a dress, but it wraps around your legs. It's like a long scarf that wraps around your legs and your waist. Because in
I understand.
In Bali temples, Hindu temples, you want to be respectful and you want to have your shoulders covered and your knees covered. Men and women. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. You should have your You shouldn't be walking around like shirtless. You know, here when you go to other places like Kuta, because it's a beach town, most of the tourists walk around shirtless. You won't see a ton of Indonesian people walking around shirtless, though. So there's a little bit of a difference. And one tip I can give you and all the listeners out there that plan on visiting Bali, if you go to any stores or restaurants, even if you came from the beach, put a shirt on. Even if it's a tank top, put a shirt on. Be respectful. So, yeah. But the vibes of Ubud, Jared, are definitely super chill, beautiful, super green, like lush green forest, palm trees, absolutely beautiful nature. Ubud's pretty awesome.
So, I would like to share some facts about about Bali, not Ubud,
great.
with you.
Great.
Because I don't know anything about Bali. You know only slightly more than I do.
Right.
And
true.
So I'd like to leave this at least a little bit more educated. Not that you haven't been educating me. Bali, how many islands is Bali made up of?
Oh, geez. I would guess probably 3 or 4.
It's 3.
Okay.
Bali is indeed an island. It's also a province that comprises a handful of smaller islands congregated off Bali Island's southeast coastline.
Yep, the Gili
Nusa
Islands.
Penida,
Yep.
Nusa Lembongan, Nusa Xeningan form a
that's right.
small cluster of just 20 to 30-minute boat rides from Sanur. Is that where you are, Sanur?
No. Ubud.
Okay, well worth a
Sanur is the beach. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well worth. Anyway. Oh, I get it now. ICE is government regulated. The ICE in Bali is quality controlled by the local government. The tap water is not as Bali friendly, unfortunately. So make sure you stay hydrated with bottled water. You've been staying hydrated with bottled water? Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound like it. You should leave food on your plate. Have you heard this?
I didn't know that. No.
We're not suggesting you should leave any part of your fresh seafood platter when dining in a restaurant, but if you're invited into a local family home, the etiquette is different. You might find yourself sitting on the floor and eating with your hands, in which case your right hand only, and when you've had enough, you should leave a little bit of food on your plate to signify you are done. So I guess if you clean the plate, they'll give you more.
Yeah. Okay. There are a lot of cultures like that. Yeah, and
similar to Czech with the beer, actually.
Granted,
you flip it over,
right?
But you could also maybe leave a little bit, and they won't. I don't know.
It depends.
Or will they
It
just
depends
fill it
on the
up?
bartender.
Yeah,
really
they probably
depends on
will.
the bartender. But yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Has it been getting? Have you felt any weird rumbles or shakes recently? Because Bali is an active volcano.
I haven't, thankfully, but yeah, there is an active volcano. It's a couple hours drive from where I'm pretty sure it's in the northern part of the island. Yeah.
So Mounts Agung and Batur are 2 towering peaks of Bali, and these dinosaurs are far from dormant. I shouldn't be getting this excited. Gunung Agung, as it's locally known, last erupted, do you know when?
No idea.
Do you know which one you're closer to?
No idea.
Okay. Last erupted in 1963. Some people died, and still makes its presence felt with occasional gassy belches. Batur, meanwhile, last erupted in 2000, shouting ash into the air, but no one was harmed. The airport will be shut 1 day a year. Have you heard about this?
I haven't.
For Nyepi, a Hindu celebration observed mainly in Bali, sees the entire island fall silent with business closing, and so hopefully that's not going to impede. Do you already have your ticket for coming back home?
Flight is booked.
Okay.
Good to go.
Bali has one of the highest densities of spas in the world. Have you ever been to a spa?
Not yet. I'm hoping to go to one while I'm here, though. Still got a few days.
Did I tell you I went to a bathhouse here in Detroit?
No, how was it?
Oh yeah, I did, dude. It was great. So it's in Detroit, and I think it's actually a pretty historical place. And you go in, and it's $30 for it was co-ed time. You can do just men or just women on different days, but it was co-ed time, and it was from 6 to 10. And you have to wear a bathing suit, and then I even bought a robe for it. And you go in there, and there's like a hot sauna, a dry sauna and a wet sauna, and then there's a cold, like a super cold pool, and then there's also a bunch of areas to just hang out, and it's a BYOB, so you can bring your own booze.
Really?
For those people that don't know what that is, and just hang out there for a bit. And I left feeling very refreshed. It was great. I was there for like 3.5 hours. You trying to go there when I get
back?
Dude, I'll go. You can also go as like on an all men's day, but then you got to be naked, and I'm self-conscious. But anyway, we can go, dude. It's fun.
That'd be fun.
It's a good time.
I'd be down
for sure.
I'd be totally down.
I'm down too. But you can also check it out in Bali while you're there.
Right. Well, I'm planning.
I assume you have a lot of free time.
Yes. Well, yes and no. It's full employment time, Jared. So that means I am on the job search. So I'm applying for places. CV has been updated. Have been writing cover letters like a madman. But I will have a lot of free time. Here's the sad thing though, Jared. So I was with my friend John today. Let me see if I can find the picture. And he looked up the weather forecast. And I won't even show it to you because you won't be able to see it. It's not a very clear picture. But literally every day until February 16th, so a week from now, to break the fourth wall, is rain and thunderstorms. Every day, every single day, same icon, rain, thunderstorm, rain, thunderstorm.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
So I was really hoping,
at it. But 89 consistently.
Right. But I was really hoping to make my way to the beach. I'll be staying in Kuta, which is a southern part of Bali by Denpasar, and there is a good place to go surfing. So I was hoping to spend a few days and go surfing.
Oh wow!
But if it's raining and thunderstorming. I mean, in Florida, but I don't think that really counts. I don't think that's like here in Bali or Hawaii or something like that.
Using an above-ground pool in someone's backyard behind their trailer doesn't count, Chad.
Exactly. But, if it keeps raining, it might be spa day after spa day and maybe go do some yoga. That's a cool
Your
thing.
Your skin will be glowing by the time you get back.
No kidding. But that's a cool thing as well, though, about Ubud is I think there's a lot more like you can experience more Bali culture in Ubud. Like Kuta is more tourists and parties and surfing and shopping, whereas Ubud is a little bit more laid back. I don't even think
Are you going to be in Kuta by yourself?
Yes. Well, no. There are a few other English language fellows that will be there too.
Okay. So now that you're done officially with your fellowship, a lot of your coworkers are in the same area, but are they all leaving around the same time or dispersing to different locations?
So we've already.
How many of them are you friendly with? First of all,
all of them, because they're all China fellows.
How many?
I know them all really well. The ones that are still here, I think there's 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. But when you say all of them, I was thinking like 10 to 15 people.
No, but 2 of the 5 are way up in the north. No, they're way up in the north of the island. So that would be like a 2.5, 3 hour cab ride.
Okay.
And they're great people.
Cab ride? What do you mean cab ride?
Taxi. A cab.
That's the best option?
How else am I going to get there? There's really no public transportation here. Or
they don't have like trains or anything?
Nope. Or I could rent. I could rent a motor, like a motor scooter.
What? And that would take like 4 hours?
Probably be cheaper than a cab, but yeah.
I guess. I mean, more dangerous if you make it.
Right. A lot of tourists rent motor. When I say motorcycles, I don't mean like a powerful motorcycle. I mean more like a scooter.
Yeah, of course you're not renting a Ducati,
right? Or a Harley or some shit. Yeah, no, not quite. Not quite. But that's how most people get around here, Jared, is either if
I can imagine
you're a tourist, you take a cab, or you rent a like a motor scooter. I don't know what the correct term is.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. Yep.
Like a moped or a scooter. I think scooter works.
Right, yeah.
Malevolent spirits are not welcome. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to read on.
Better believe it.
What does that mean? What's malevolent
spirits,
mean?
Man, bad spirits.
Oh, okay.
Evil spirits.
Benevolent is generous. Good. Malevolent is
correct.
Evil. Spirits are everywhere in Bali, and there are myriad practices to keep evil ones at bay. Have you noticed any of these?
Yes.
Techniques?
Yes. One of them is to well, I don't know if this is for spirits, but I see it all over Bali. Ubud and everywhere else, where people will have small offerings for the gods. So they are usually, it's like a small, I think it's made out of a type of leaf. I don't know if it's banana leaf or what type of leaf. And then they put food and other things on there as offerings to the gods.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. That's sort of a traditional Hindu thing to have little offerings for the gods. Here are some other ones. There's a screen behind compound gateways called an aling aling, intended to keep them out. Have you seen that? Screens maybe behind some sort of gates or doors or something.
I'll have to keep my eyes open.
There are daily offerings of incense and food wrapped in banana leaves to appease them. Very good.
Yep.
There are noisy processions and scary stone carvings on walls to frighten them off.
I've seen lots of those. I'll take some pictures of those because I see them all over the place.
Thank you. Don't forget to honk your horn if you drive past a cemetery, as this will also scare the spirits away. So for you should maybe bark like a dog or something.
Thanks, Jared. Perfect. People won't think I'm weird at all.
Speaking of people thinking you're weird, do you get you don't? I assume since you're in a much more touristy place, you don't get stairs like you did in Jinan.
Not at all. Nobody's staring at me. Yeah, none of that business here, Jared.
I mean, I saw a picture of something you sent me, I think, and I think I saw some white dude in the background.
Probably.
I don't remember where it was, but I feel like anyway. These are great. Okay. Bowie's final resting place. The late David Bowie requested in his will to have his ashes scattered in Bali in a Buddhist ritual. There were some press reports that his family had fulfilled these wishes in a closed ceremony. Tirta Impul is a must. Have you heard of this?
I haven't.
Tirta Impul. Not all popular tourist attractions are worth the crowds, but Tirta Impul Water Temple is a clear...
water temple. Yeah. Has 13 different springs that comes from the mountain.
Yes.
And it's to cleanse you of your sins and everything like that.
Yeah, so you might need to spend a full week in there. Just
I knew you were going to
This is where locals in some out of town pilgrims come to undergo a lengthy purification ritual that involves bathing in fresh water springs from a series of 30 water spouts. The temple was founded in 962 AD and is dedicated to Vishnu. Make sure you include this in your Bali adventure. And still, by the way, as Chad mentioned, make sure you're like you don't have to cover up completely, but make sure you're wearing something.
Yep.
Bobby Guling is...
And, sorry, let me interrupt you real quick, Jared. In any of the temples you go to, there will be people trying to sell you a sarong outside the temple. If it's any temple you go to where you pay entry, when you pay entry, you will get, I guess in theory, a free... I don't know if you have to give them back or how that works, but you will still get a sarong. So do not buy a sarong from the people out front of the temples trying to sell them to you. There's all sorts of scams in Bali to be aware of, and that's one of them.
Here's the do not do's at a temple. Have the soles of your feet pointing at the altar.
Yep.
Point at things, especially statues.
Yep.
Be, quote unquote, improperly attired. You must wear a long sarong and cover your shoulders. Be loud or irreverent. Stand higher than a priest. So like if a priest is standing on just the same level floor, don't stand on like some sort of step above him, I guess that's what that means. Have an uncovered wound. And this last one, some people might not like. Be visibly pregnant.
Oh, interesting.
Bali has a bat cave. Do you want to go to the bat cave?
Nope.
No, you don't.
Nope.
You can have... Me neither. Okay. So you mentioned this whole Bali belly thing. One last thing I wanted to talk about is obviously the food. So I want to just go through some of these dishes. Tell me if you've had them. Tell me if you would have them.
Okay.
Obviously, I'll do the same. Bali's most renowned dishes, made rich by the heavy use of local herbs and spices, are traditionally eaten during the colorful Hindu. Okay. Anyway, here are the dishes. Babi guling. Have you heard of babi guling?
What is it?
Suckling pig. Pork, I guess you could say too. Pork dishes are relatively hard to find across the mostly Muslim Indonesian archipelago. But Bali's famed suckling pig makes any roaming traveler's wait worthwhile. While strictly speaking, a suckling pig should be feeding on its mother's milk in Bali, the pig used in the popular dish can weigh about 150 pounds. They are rubbed with turmeric, then stuffed with a base ghee or spice paste, which usually includes a combination of coriander seeds, lemongrass, Asian lime leaves, and salam leaves, chilies, black pepper, garlic, red shallots, ginger, and concour, lesser galangal. I don't know what the last one is, but it's a spice. The pig is roasted on a spit over coconut husks or wood to tender perfection. When ordering a plate, expect sliced meat, a few pieces of satay, caramelized crackling, which is like the skin, crunchy.
Yep, I've had that.
And more obscure parts like crispy intestines. This is nose to tail dining at its most traditional. How do you feel about that?
So I've had a similar pork dish. I don't think it's the same one, but the spices sound pretty similar. And that was super good. I'm not sure what the name was. I've had the chicken satay and beef satay here in Bali. Super delicious. Comes with a peanut sauce and comes with other spices. Super awesome. Tomato sambal, which is like a tomato chili sauce. Amazing. Fantastic.
Is there are they heavy on the rice over there? Is that their main go-to?
A lot of rice.
Yeah. I like a good rice. I like rice as a base for my.
Oh yeah. It's
for
a
the
good
meals.
One. Yeah, a lot of really
all right,
good stuff.
So I think in general, you'd be on board with the babi guling. Mm-hmm. I think I would too. Now, I don't like they might lose me a little bit with the intestines and stuff, but I'm sure you don't have to do that.
Right.
Lawar. Have you heard of lawar?
What is it?
Lawar is a crunch tender mix of vegetables, grated coconut, meat, and minced meat mixed with various heady herbs and spices, and often fresh blood.
Ooh,
every village has its own version. While it's the usual accompaniment to babi guling. All right, so that might maybe turn me off from babi guling a little bit. Lawar can stand as a dish on its own as well, though. Lawar nangka, or young jackfruit lawar, is an example. Bebek betutu, slow-cooked duck. How do you feel about duck?
I like
Stop
duck.
laughing at me. How dare you?
I like duck. Duck's good. I think I've had different Balinese dishes while I've been here. All of our meals were provided by the hotel in Ubud. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was all.
Part of your? That's part of your.
Part of the deal.
Your cost.
Yeah.
How much you're paying?
Right.
Okay.
And I will say that the food was really, really good. It was mostly almost all Indonesian style foods, and a lot of them didn't. That was the other negative thing, is a lot of them, they didn't have the name of the dish in Indonesian. It was just like, this is, chicken skewers with this type of sauce or whatever.
Right. So they obviously had the menu set up like it was Indonesian food, but they had the menu set up for tourists.
Correct. But the food was great. I will say this though, Jared. I really like the flavors and everything, but I've been eating it now for a week straight, and it's time for some other types of food, I would say, after a week.
What have you? So you've been eating a lot of the chicken satay and the beef satay. That's been a big one.
Yep, rice. They have this really good, I don't know what it's called, but it's like fried vegetables that are like kind of put together with like a crispy breading. Super, super delicious as well. I Let's see here. What were
That
some
might
other
be
stuff?
the wait. So I wonder. Is it like a super spicy? Are they spicy over there?
It
Do they? I mean, they temper it down for the tourist. I
they
imagine.
probably
but-
tempered it down. Yeah, it wasn't spicy at all. But I've been using
But
that
can they-
sambal and getting it nice and spicy.
So in general in Indonesia and Bali, they're not afraid to kick it up several more
Definitely not.
notches than us
Definitely not.
Americans would
I
be
mean, I
used
had a
to.
Balinese dish today that was like chicken, eggs, and green peppers, and I don't know what other spices they put in it, but that thing kicked my ass, dude. It was bad.
So, okay, this has been great. So you're going to the beach soon. When do you leave? Where do you leave Ubud? When do you leave Ubud? Excuse me.
Tomorrow
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, so then you have over a week at the beach.
in Kuta. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 days.
I'll be interested to see. So you'll be able to get a little social with it then. Like it'll be sort of is a kind of a poppin' place. Although I guess it is raining all day, so it's
Right.
hard to be social.
Yeah, we'll
when
see.
it's raining.
Yeah, we'll see. All
right.
But
Well, you can be social in the spas, you know.
right. I want to go to a couple spas. I mean, another thing, if you're in Bali, Ubud, or elsewhere, you can get really good massages for dirt cheap, like $7 to $10, $15 for an hour.
Oh wow.
So yeah. Then they have other spa stuff. Ubud is well known for having a lot of different yoga opportunities. So if you're into yoga, check that out in Ubud. I'm not going to have time, unfortunately, but yeah, and we'll do another episode on Kuta and talk about it as well.
And it seems like for the most part, people are pretty proficient in English there. Like you can
For the most part, most
fend for
people.
yourself pretty
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, most people.
Okay.
I would say so.
All
I
right.
would say so. But
Interesting.
Jared, one of the most beautiful things about Bali so far, I would say, has been the music. I've heard a lot of great Balinese music, and we are going to be doing some Balinese music today for our Song of the Pod. And I sent it to Jared. I'm trying to look up the title. Do you happen to have the title in front of you, buddy?
I do have the title. I feel very. It's by a guy named
Gus Teja.
Gus.
Or Teja, I think. Gus Teja.
And what's the song called?
Song is called Morning Happiness.
I feel Morning Happiness is very fitting for this song. This is one of those rare morning for me, night for you recordings.
Right.
And I feel so lucky that this is what I got to wake up to.
Good.
Because this song is so peaceful and it's long too. So it's great to just have on. You almost kind of forget that it's on in the background, but it's like
Right. And
it's
go ahead.
Go ahead. The main instrument in it, really, I'd say the star of the song is going to be this flute. I don't know what
Balinese
you
flute.
call the flute.
Balinese flute.
But it is some, I assume, traditional, Balinese flute. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very peaceful, and it's great. I love it. It's wonderful.
And fun fact, Jared, I actually took a lesson at the hotel on how to play Balinese flute.
And you're just bringing this up now. Though I guess this is the perfect
am.
time to do it.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, and it was a little difficult to get the hang of it. The flutes are made out of bamboo, and our teacher told us that they have 3 different sizes. A really small one that's pretty high pitched, and then a medium one. We played the medium one, and then a bigger one. Learned how to play Jingle Bells. That was the easiest thing
Is it
he
just
could teach us.
Is it just so it's like a bamboo stick, just like with holes for the fingers and hole at the
Holes,
bottom,
and
basic
then there's
situation?
A block. There's a block where you rest your lips, and then there's a hole at the top, if I remember correctly, either the top
Like
or
a
the bottom,
recorder, kind
or
of.
the air. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And I'm
Okay.
gonna look and see if I can find them at the market and see if I can bring home a couple.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So does your hotel like offer a bunch of different classes like that?
Well, they have just random stuff throughout the day, and that was a free thing during the day. So I figured, what the heck?
That sounds
why
like
not?
something they do at a hostel or something.
Right? But yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, that seems right up your alley.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then he also showed us this other Balinese instrument called a maybe rimbi. I'm not sure. Rimbi or rindi. It's like
I'll tell you.
It's like a xylophone with bamboo that you hit with mallets. and I'm pretty sure it's featured in this song as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it looks like there's some people playing them, and it was super fun. Like, I could have messed around on those things for hours. Hours upon hours.
A rindik?
That might be it.
There's a whole bunch of different apparently the Balinese like xylophones.
Yeah, or xylophone. Because
I think there's more than one.
Right. But yeah, so we were playing around with that as well. So it was super fun. And yeah, Balinese music is just so peaceful and like soothing and calming. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's rindik, like Rindik is what I'm saying.
There we go. Okay. So yeah, but check it out.
It is very soothing, but it fits the Hinduism vibe,
vibes. Oh, for sure.
It's
and
Hinduism
vibes.
is a very peaceful religion.
It is. Absolutely.
And yeah, it seems like a very peaceful place in general, like just the surroundings. And it almost seems very fitting to like the background of hearing all these birds and animals so close to you, especially where you are like sort of surrounded by the forest.
Right. Oh, exactly. So check out our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast, and the Song of the Pod playlist, Morning Happiness by Gus
You
Teja.
Betcha.
It's fantastic.
Did you tell me how you were getting to Kudu?
Kuda?
Kuda? Excuse me.
Taxi.
So you just hire someone to drive you for 2 hours?
1 hour, but yeah.
1 hour. Okay.
It's about 10
That's
USD.
kind of nice, I'm not going to lie.
10 USD to get you from point A to point B. Not too bad.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to see the traffic is a shit show there, I imagine. Like no one follows the rules kind of thing.
No, actually, it's pretty orderly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Well, pardon me.
So far. Yeah, come on, Jared. Now it is a little chaotic with all the scooters going around, but still, I would say I haven't seen any bad accidents yet.
But I don't mean even seeing accidents, but I mean like for example, wasn't it terrible when you were in Ulaanbaatar? It wasn't bad in Beijing too, for that matter.
Beijing wasn't nearly as bad as Ulaanbaatar. That was probably one of the worst traffic places I've ever been to, for sure. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's not too bad as long as you're not during peak travel times like rush hour. You're fine.
Do you think you could drive there if you were to go on a vacation and rent a car?
Nope.
You would feel no
because it's on
not even a
because
scooter.
We're driving on the other side of the road.
Yeah, but I've heard you get used to that pretty quickly. I've never done it.
I don't trust myself. Myself.
I'll give us a Spanish word of the pod. And it is ociosidad. And it's spelled Ociosedad. Ociosidad. Is that how you'd say that?
Probably. I think so.
Okay.
And it means?
Another way to say that would be relación.
Oh.
Relación.
Relaxation.
Relajación. Yeah, there you go.
Relaxation.
I'm excited for you to get some well-deserved relaxation in.
Come back all zen and ready to go. You better believe it, buddy.
I'm a little jealous. I am a little jealous, but
I'll try to bring the zen back for you. Bring the peacefulness and the zen back for you. But yeah, I think that's what the beauty of Ubud is that, I mean, it's not quite the same as relaxing on a beach. I will say that. But there's something just peaceful about the like forests surrounding you and the temples. But downtown Ubud does get a little hectic just because there's lots of people, not tons of space. But it is a beautiful part of Bali. I would highly recommend it if you want to get more like Balinese culture and that kind of thing. Check it out. But if you're more into the beach and the party, then check out Kuta, and we'll talk about that coming very soon. So keep your eyes and ears open for that, people. So yeah. But yeah, Bali, in a few words though, Jared, I would say is definitely peaceful, green, and beautiful. So check it out. It's definitely worth your while.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Sometimes usually those sort of relaxation locations, or like those even like destination, whether it be beach or like tropical destination places, don't really appeal to me. I like to have vacations where I'm like kind of up and at them doing stuff.
I think you should try it.
But I think there definitely is something to actually being able to slow down for once. And I always do say I come back from vacations usually more exhausted
tired,
than before I left anyway.
My goal
so maybe
is
it
to
would be
come
nice
back.
to actually try a vacation where I relaxed
Right.
and not worked harder than I did at my job.
Exactly. Like my goal is to come back like super like calm and peaceful. You know, we'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll see.
You're gonna start walking
yeah.
a lot slower. You're gonna
Right. Well, you already walk too fast as it is, so that's another talk for
yeah,
another time.
that's
But yeah.
true.
So, anyways, let us know what you like to do in Bali or Ubud at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Check out our
betcha.
Instagram to see pictures of Ubud and the Bali Zoo. Untranslatable Podcast. And lastly, if you want some peaceful Balinese music, check out our Song of the Pod playlist on our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast. And please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we
Пожалуйста.
can make this podcast better for you. So, as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Yakuyame, which is gracias, and shisha.